I think he's the perfect person to have on to defend.
Mr. Bennell, don't change the subject. If you don't know what you're talking about, at least have the humility. You talk about chapter 6. You don't know chapter 6.
How close has 242 gotten to the Palestinians to peace?
From tweet 5. You have no idea what you're talking about. It's just so embarrassing. At least have some humility. Between us, we've read maybe 10,000 books on the topic, and you've read 2 Wikipedia entries, and you start talking about chapter 6. Do you know what chapter 7 is?
Answer me.
You know, Mr.
Dude, wait. No, wait. Is Benny Morris laughing at him? He's laughing at him.
I like how delusional you have to be to think that Benny is laughing at me in these interactions. Like, how crazy. How do you not get blackpilled with a gaslight on Twitter? So, okay, so there's a couple things, okay? Let's orient our minds. Lily's name is Graper's talking about your photos. Yeah, orient our minds through Twitter stuff. Okay, there's a couple of important things. First of all, I don't know where this meme came from on my subreddit of like, this is all Destiny's fault because he doesn't try to grow his Twitter. I don't know like what that even means. Like, I think people forget that I've been banned from Twitter for like 10 years, and I think I've lost like 7 or 8 or 9 accounts. I've only had my Twitter account, I think, for about 1.5 years or 2 years. When did I get my Twitter account back? Yeah, so there's this weird idea of like, oh yeah, Destiny doesn't try to grow Twitter. That's not true at all. I don't know where that thing comes from. But the I think that the important thing to keep in mind when it comes to this particular issue is there's a lot of different things at play. If you're wondering like why the public response looks the way that it does. So one is this is an issue where the Nazis and the far left, who make up a lot of the online conversation, especially about me on Twitter, are 100% in complete and total alignment in a lot of like very weird and interesting ways. So for instance, the main propagators of misinfo about me on Twitter tend to be groypers. So they'll clip, there's like that 20-second clip of like, there's like a video of like young, I think Erdogan or young Bashar al-Assad or whatever. And I'm like, oh, is this Assad or Erdogan? Or I don't know what they look like in this video. And people are like, oh, he thought that Erdogan was the leader of Turkey, right? This is a groyper Nazi talking point. But the funny thing is ordinarily it'd be contained in kind of like those fights. So if I fight like a Nazi or a far right person, I would be getting like the groyper talking points or whatever. But in this particular world right now, where anti-establishment people are roughly aligned on a large variety of issues, they're aligned on foreign policy because they're all anti-interventionalist, and they align on a lot of social moral values because there is a huge intersection with the Muslim world right now, which has a lot of overlapping hardcore conservative social values. So they overlap on the like attacking me for like the divorce or open relationships or whatever and then they overlap on the anti-interventionalist, like fuck America, basically, foreign policy takes. So the weird thing is what happens is the talking point was you think Erdogan was the leader of Israel. There's like a million talking points. One is that I can't find, I think one is we're looking at maps of like the Ottoman Empire, and then I bring up some map and I'm like trying to, because some of them are like diagonal or angled weirdly, and I'm like, oh, where is Israel on this map or whatever? And people are like, oh, he doesn't know where Israel is on the map. I'm like, okay. And then there is one where there's like, I think it's a young Bashir and I think a young Erdogan are walking through frame and I say something. And then some people say that I don't know who the leader of Syria or Turkey is, or I mixed them up, or I think Erdogan was the leader of Israel or Jordan. It's just like, it all gets like, it's whatever, whoever's tweeting at the time, basically. But I was going to say, because of this alignment, what happens is the gripers are really effective on Twitter in terms of weaponizing clips and then like trying to get it all through their Telegram communities and spread. But people like Hassan or other lefties that hate me also plug into the Nazi network when it comes to attacking me. So a lot of Hassan's attacks towards me are amplified from Nazi accounts. So like we've watched him on stream. I wish I had the example to bring up, but we've watched it like 5 or 10 times on stream. We've seen this a lot. But Hassan will have Twitter accounts open that he's reading from as he's like retweeting them and then spreading that information about me. So there's like a very strange world right now where there's like a 1-to-1 overlap between Nazi talking points about me and then tanky / Palestinian / whatever talking points about me. And we're also dealing with like an international issue of like Israel-Palestine, where the popular consensus online is it's very woke, very cool, very awesome to be pro-Palestinian. So that's like the huge overlap basically right now of people. Yeah. So, you know, it is what it is. I will say though, like one thing that I'm a little happy about, I guess it's kind of funny, is I think that Norm was unbelievably unhinged in this conversation. And I think every single person can see that. So the fact that people are defending his behavior and then everybody's saying like, oh my God, you got owned. And then it's just clips of Norm like screaming. I think that's pretty good. The map didn't have borders, so yeah, easy mistake to make. But in one of the clips, I saw you literally say, when did Erdogan become the president of Israel? How do you explain that? So one, I'm perm banning you because you're a retard. So there's two things at play. Either one, I misspoke. And two, the reason why I'm perm banning you is because you're trying to call my knowledge into question and you think that Israel has a meaningful president. That's like the easiest, obvious answer that you're retarded. The president of Israel is an honorific position. I don't think I would sincerely ask who's the president of Israel. It would be who's the prime minister of Israel, because Israel's leader of the country is considered the prime minister. The president is like an honorific role that doesn't fall off yourself. You are retarded. But yeah, Hassan straight up admitted Norm going full debate was based because he doesn't like your opinions. Yeah, it shows like the fluidity of, not even the fluidity of the principles, is the lack of principles, right? That also, I will be able to reference this in the future because anytime these guys bring up like, oh, like you're a debate harasser, debate, you guys use debate tactics. You guys love debate tactics. It's just, it only matters when they're being used on people that you don't like, essentially. Yeah. It's like the old tanky adage. I don't know if it's a tanky adage, but it's like there are no bad tactics, only bad targets, because these guys would support basically any type of, wow. What? Did you message them? Yeah, I did. Did they say they're there? Yeah, but I think it's nice to point back and be like, listen, clearly you guys don't give a fuck about this. Honorific is probably not the right word. He's probably head of the armed forces and has a few other roles. You think the Israeli president is the head of the IDF, their armed forces? What are your thoughts on this clip floating around on Twitter?
Top-down racial domination enacted through top-down, like federal legislative policies or whatever, means that I don't know if Jim Crow would have qualified for part of it. That doesn't make it any less. Excuse me, Finkelstein. I'm talking right now. Excuse me, Finkelstein. I'm talking to your friend over here. I don't know if it would qualify as the crime of apartheid. Just like if Israel were to literally nuke the Gaza Strip and kill 2 million people, I don't know if that would qualify for the crime of genocide. Top-down racial domination.
Destiny. If Israel were to literally nuke the Gaza Strip and kill 2 million people, I don't know if that would qualify as genocide. That's just true. That's just true. Killing lots of people on its own is not genocide. The special intent part combined with the action is what makes it genocide. You've been destroyed on Twitter just for that Jim Crow comment alone? Bro, people in my tweets are saying that slavery was apartheid. I don't know what these words mean things. These words have meanings. They mean things. You come off as racist when you say that. It's extremely bad optics. I don't give a what? Like, what do you mean I come off as racist? Kill yourself. What do you mean I come off as racist? I only come off as racist because you're a fucking retard that's allowed these people to infect your fucking brain. Like, you're doing in real time the fucking thing that I pointed out, where apartheid means racism. So when you say something that is racist isn't apartheid, you're saying it's not racism. Like, that's the stupidest mind fuck in the world. You have no capability of like understanding the English language. Like, these words mean more than just bad thing. You can have a genocide where you kill 200 people. That could be a genocidal action. If a commander and some troops in Israel had messages between them and they were saying, the Palestinian scourge, these Arabs, we're going to eliminate all of them, we're going to get them, these guys, we're going to kill all these blah, 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 blah. And they managed to break into Gaza and they killed 200 or 300 Palestinian people. And then eventually they're apprehended and they're whatever. That could be a genocide. It could qualify. Much the same way, it's possible that you could conceivably bomb the entire Gaza Strip and kill 1 million people. And that wouldn't necessarily qualify as genocide. It would still be bad. Killing civilians is still bad. You realize that things can be bad without them being the worst thing ever, right? You can have a bad thing that's not the worst or most bad thing, and it can still be really bad. Like, I feel like we're at a stage where if somebody trips and gets a bruise, are we going to start calling bruises broken bones? Am I going to start referring, like, if I bite my tongue, am I going to call that like internal bleeding or hemorrhaging or like what? Like, it's so crazy. Israel, Palestine, and TikTok broke the left. No, the left's always been broken. People are just realizing it more.